All right, y'all. So let's get into this breaking news. So let's get to this Austin Wolf tea, because I know y'all been anticipating that one. I thought about normally saving that to the end, but I was like, no, let me put all the sex offenders together. And one thing, I love a theme when I do a show. It's got an ebb and it's got a flow. I'm a poet and I know it. So yeah, after a year, because June 26th, I believe, makes a full year that Austin Wolf has been behind bars. And every month that we have talked about this heifer, it has always been they postpone him, they're extending his case, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So shout out to Pride because they've been on it with this story. But now it looks like he finally is about to hit a plea deal, and that deal is guilty. Which I'm like, duh, we all knew that Austin Wolf was guilty because there's no way you getting around this stuff. So let's get into the story. So Justin Heath Smith, a gay adult performer, widely known as Austin Wolf, is expected to plead guilty on Friday to at least one charge related to fellow CP possession that carries a mandatory minimum prison sentence, marking a grim turning point in a case that has sent tremors through the adult entertainment industry and libido communities online. The plea hearing is scheduled for Friday at 11:45 in the morning in the United States District Court for Southern District of New York, according to newly filed court documents. In a letter to U.S. District Judge Paul A. Engelmeyer, defense attorney Tom H. Andrikovitz, I think is how you say his name, wrote that Smith intends to plead guilty to a mandatory minimum charge with a significant advisory range under the United States sentencing guidelines. The government did not oppose a delay from the original Wednesday hearing date. This has been continued since last summer. Well, we know what you did last summer, Chair. And it says Smith, 43, has been held without bond at the MDC Brooklyn since his arrest in June 2024. Yeah, the same prison that's holding Luigi Mangione and the Diddler, who's currently on trial, by the way. Luigi's trial, I believe, starts at the end of this year. Now we finally got some information on this one. Now it says prosecutors allege he exchanged hundreds of videos of child sexual abuse material via the encrypted messaging app Telegram, including footage involving prepubescent children and infants. The case was initially sparked by a federal undercover operation and a subsequent search of Smith's Manhattan apartment, where agents allegedly found an SD card containing illegal content. And that apartment, I think, is up for grabs now. Like, I don't think anybody lives there anymore because Austin ain't able to afford the rent. And I wonder where his husband is. He went into hiding. Now, in his filing, Andrikovitz cited the complexity of the case and the essential needed for more time to prepare Smith for allocution. A defendant must accept responsibility for their crimes when they plead guilty, saying, quote, proceeding on the current schedule would not permit meaningful preparation, he wrote, noting the defense's longstanding relationship with Smith and their intent to ensure the plea is knowing and voluntary. The case against Smith, who cultivated the image of power, luxury, and masculinity in the homosexual adult entertainment world under the moniker Austin Wolf, has prompted a reckoning within corners of the industry and among fans. While Smith has not yet publicly addressed the charges, well, how can he? He's behind bars. Multiple industry peers have distanced themselves or spoken out in disgust since the allegations became public, even some going as far as removing the content that they've created with Austin from their platforms, which I think is like the smart thing to do. I mean, even though you could be like, well, back in the day, it was what it was. I wasn't aware. I just collaborated with this guy. To be honest, the smart thing to do is be like, you know what? Because people are going to be on you, or they're going to find an excuse to swoop down on you with the vitriol, being like, oh, you're an enabler. And so, which some adult content creators have been accused of. And I'm sure some of y'all did know, but y'all look the other way because associating yourself with Austin Wolf provides you with a certain cachet in the adult cinematography world, because Austin Wolf is someone who everybody looked at was sort of godlike. When you look at him, he is definitely, your typical white male, good looks, that whole thing that they go for, that the mainstream adult industry looks for. He's very tall in real life. I've encountered Austin a few times. I told you, he and I went to, well, Sailor Mermaid actually, friend of the show, actually goes to the same gym that Austin used to go to. And then Gym U, which is in Chelsea. My gym is in Chelsea also. I don't go to Gym U. First of all, Gym U is too damn expensive. But I go to a gym in the area. But at one point when all this controversy came out, they did take down, he had this little advertisement, whatever, outside of Gym U. They took that down immediately. I think I even showed a picture where they basically cut off his head or something. It was hilarious. But it was like we all knew who it was. But anyway, back to the topic. So they said the case against Smith. Okay, so I think we read all of that. And it says that many said they were unsurprised given Smith's propensity for featuring very young looking individuals in many of his videos, particularly those on sites like OF. And yeah, we all said that. It was like, yeah, it was an open secret in the industry. People always, and I tell you, I was even one included. I've even said at times, and people used to cackle, I was like, I think the reason why Austin Wolf at his big age, I think it was like 6'2" or 6'4", when I said Austin would get with like these young tweak types because they made his dick look bigger. Like I would always say stuff like that. Yeah, he had that old average pain. Kind of like fitness poppy. It's like you get these big dudes with these average size pains. And that's why they gotta go extra hard with a lot of the stuff they do to distract y'all from that. But y'all like the godlike features and things, so that's what y'all go for. And so when it came down to this, it was just like, yeah. We always make jokes about Austin Wolf and his affinity for young men in his videos, the barely legal types. And who knew at this time that a lot of the jokes that we were doing would ring true because of if you looked at a lot of his videos, he had his own site, between the OF and the Justin fans, he had For My Fans, which was his own little situation. And a lot of the models they would work with, he even did like a little week. What was this? Like he would go to Mexico. And I don't know if it was like a weekend or a week. And you have certain content creators that would come out there and they would film with him. And they would film with each other and stuff. Reno Gold was one of the ones that he would work with. Sidebar, Reno Gold, I forget who, there was a story that came out that he's dating like this rich mogul's grandson. I forgot his name. He's like a pop star, whatever, some basic ass white queen that he's hunching. So, now, as Pride previously reported, Smith was charged last summer after federal agents said he distributed and possessed child sexual abuse material. Prosecutors allege that Smith sent the illicit content to an undercover FBI agent and that the digital evidence included some of the most graphic and egregious violations federal law covers. His legal team has maintained that the charges remain unproven and criticized. Yeah, okay, if it's not unproven, then how they get an SD card with all this stuff on it, and how come that this undercover cop was following what a lot of what Austin was doing or Justin was doing? So the type of content that he was putting out there, even though the guys were barely legal, and yes, they were technically of age, that doesn't look good that doesn't fall in your favor. Because of the type of content he was putting out there, plus them catching you with this stuff, it's like it doesn't come as a shock. So now the the Federal Bureau of Prisons, that would be the FBP, confirmed Smith's detention but declined to comment on specific allegations due to privacy and security protocols. Because he's been in jail since June 28th of last year. So like I said, we was coming up on his 1-year anniversary of being locked up. You're not getting out. Now, while the exact plea terms have not been disclosed, the language on the defense's June 17 motion strongly indicates that Smith will accept a deal involving incarceration. But the question that we want to know is, yeah, he's going to be in jail, but how long? Are you getting a 20-year sentence? Is this to mean that, he's accepting a charge? He's like, I'll just do I'll do my big one. Just give me the date that I'm going to be sentence me to my time and I'm going to just serve it. Or is he getting 20 years to life in prison? Like, I want to know. So, we don't have all the information yet. This is a relatively new story. Maybe things have changed since I've been live where there's more information, but the more I get information on this, I will definitely let you know. They said Friday we're supposed to hear about it, but Friday I'm actually going to be working an event, so I'm not going to be able to do a Friday show. So Saturday I will definitely hit y'all up with the information when we come on and we do another show where I can look into it and find out more of the details regarding the plea deal and all that stuff. So this is breaking news that we finally got some news on Austin Wolf, and he's going to plead guilty to the federal CP charges, which I'm like, in the words of Lizzo, it's about damn time. So I want to hear from y'all what you guys think of this story. I'm glad we finally have a resolution to the situation. Speaking of what y'all want to say on it, I want to read some of the comments. So when I went over to Pride's website, when I found out about it, and thank you, I think who sent me this? Felix sent me this. So thank you for putting me on, because I did not think to go to Pride. And it was like, because I was looking for stuff to, homosexual news to get to, which I found some drag race stuff. But some of the people in the comments said, here's why they hate us. This cost our whole community sick FUK. Well, here's the thing. This is the thing that I get pissed off about when y'all go and say, well, see, because of people like this is why they hate it. No. First of all, they hate us regardless. It could be like, y'all could be fucking, Pope Francis out here. With sidebar, did y'all know Pope Francis and Madonna are related? But that's another story for another time. But but it's like, y'all could be out here, be Mother Teresa or Pope Francis. They will still find a reason to hate you because you're a part of the LGBTQ community. So no, I'm not walking on eggshells and because of some hater. So I don't like the fact that when y'all always come out here and say that, because I don't agree with that. But you're allowed to have your opinion. I just don't agree with it. Now, another person said no one was shocked. Another person said, somebody said, but Shangela raped him. Oh, rapped him. I think is what they put in there. I'm like, we got to talk about Shangela later on in the show when we talk about Trixie. I was like, not the Shangela's stray. Another person said, shocking said nobody. Well, let me refresh and see if people added more since then. Oh, they said people. One person said people will still watch his bullshit. Another person said, I knew not to mess with him when he asked me to meet him back when I was 19. Wait, who are you? But who this woman? Oh, somebody called D Angel Poppy, who calls himself wait, why does he look familiar? Hold on, let me pull up his picture, see if y'all recognize her. He cute though. Why does he does look familiar to me. Yeah, so this one, he the one that put that T up in there talking about that Austin will try to hit on him and say he knew not to do that. I'm like, oh, you a cutie. How you doing? But let's go back to the Austin Wolf team. Where's that at? Oh, where they at? Where they at? Not shocked when you see those twinks. He always bending over. They said, let's get all the others out there. Oh, they said Trump next. No, he not. First of all, we already know he on the Epstein list. We all know that stuff, so it's just like, no, it's not happening. They had many a times to get him on them CP charges, but we already know how stupid our government is. Somebody went and said, I never heard of this dude. Well, you've been living under a rock, because I don't know how you haven't heard of Austin Wolf. Or maybe you just don't watch that type of content. Maybe you're somebody who just watches whatever porn you watch. But I want to hear from y'all, as I said before. I just wanted to read what some of the people in the comments were saying, because I almost forgot to do that. I did pull it out for that reason. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this latest story on Austin Wolf in the comments down below.